You are not defined by the life you've lived. You are defined by the identity you choose. Every timeline available to you already exists as a potential, but potential is not enough. What determines the timeline you enter is the version of yourself you assume, internally, consistently, decisively. Neville Goddard taught that assumption is creation. Jung taught that identity is governed by archetypes. Combine the two and you realize something powerful. Identity is architecture, and you are the architect. Most men try to change their timeline by changing their environment. They move to new cities, find new relationships, start new habits. But nothing changes, because the one thing they didn't change was the identity that created the old life. A new timeline cannot emerge from an unchanged identity. You cannot build a different future with the same blueprint. This is why your environment snaps you back. Not because the world is against you, but because your identity is unchanged. And identity always recreates what it knows. Every outcome in your life is tied to the identity you believe yourself to be. In the quantum field, identity is not a reflection of your world. It is the cause of it. Who you assume yourself to be determines the opportunities you notice, the people you attract, the energy you emit, and the timelines you walk into. Your identity is not a description, it is a frequency. And the timeline you enter is the one that matches the frequency of who you are. This is why change feels hard. You are trying to enter a new timeline while staying loyal to an old identity. Carl Jung taught that every man carries archetypes within him: king, warrior, magician, lover, sovereign, architect. These archetypes aren't fantasies. They are psychological structures, blueprints for identity. When you embody the king, your posture, boundaries, and standards shift. When you embody the warrior, your discipline strengthens. When you embody the magician, your intuition sharpens. These aren't roles you play. They are identities you inhabit. And your timeline reorganizes to reflect the archetype you embody. A man in his archetype walks into a different world than a man in chaos. Neville Goddard said, "You are already that which you want to be." Not metaphorically, literally. When Neville spoke of living in the end, he was giving you the mechanics of timeline shifting. You don't create a new timeline by wanting it, wishing it, or chasing it. You create a new timeline by assuming the identity of the man who already lives there. Identity collapses the distance between desire and reality. The moment you assume the state, the timeline begins forming around you. Every timeline requires strength, and that strength comes from the shadow, the parts of you you've rejected, abandoned, or buried. Jung wrote, "The shadow is 90% pure gold. Inside your anger is your boundary. Inside your insecurity is your humility. Inside your fear is your intuition." When you integrate the shadow, you stop repeating timelines. Your power returns. Your clarity returns. Your identity stabilizes. And the timeline you kept losing finally becomes sustainable. To enter a new timeline, you must become the man who belongs there. This is identity-based manifestation. You don't get the result first. You get the identity first, and the identity creates the result. Who is the version of you that already has what you want? How does he walk? How does he speak? What does he tolerate? What does he ignore? What assumptions does he hold as truth? You must embody him until he becomes you. And the timeline follows. You are not here to react to reality. You are here to construct it, not by force, not by effort, but by identity. You are the architect of your identity. You are the designer of your destiny. You are the one who chooses the blueprint your future is built from. When you change who you are, you change where you're going. Identity first, timeline second. You are the architect of your identity. Choose it, and the timeline takes form.